morning. Kevin, your son was a hell of a player, I remember that. So great seeing you again. It's great to be back in front of people. And my daughter actually works for the Big Ten Network. And Kevin, I am thankful for your leadership and your commitment to excellence. She loves it. She loves the culture of the Big Ten Network, and certainly excited to be there. Just want to talk a little bit, first of all, about our team. I'm really excited about our group this year. For the first time since we've been at Nebraska, we've got continuity with our lineup, and we bring back players that played a key factor in our team and in our system, and are going to provide, or are providing, great leadership to our young, talented class that we brought in with our 8 newcomers, 4 freshmen, and 4 transfers that we've added to our lineup. To have continuity is very important. We basically started from the ground up with our first 2 seasons. We took over a big rebuilding project in a league where we're really the only team that was going through a rebuild, which has created some very difficult moments. But I'm proud, especially last year's group, of how we fought through adversity. We were hit by the pandemic and by COVID as much as any team in the country a year ago, where we were shut down for 21 days with 10 of our rotation players that came down with it, 4 of our coaches. And I was really proud, after putting a schedule, just talking to Kerry Kenny about how we basically had to put together 14 games in 29 days, and with deconditioned bodies, with really having to stay out of the gym because of everything that was going on with our group. So a lot of those guys that went through that, found a way to fight through that adversity. They've been very important as we've been putting our system in the early stages of helping our young players along, talking to them about the system when you do it right, when we share the ball, when we make simple plays, about how effective it can be. Our young class, top 15 class in the country, have been really impressed with the maturity of our group, and excited about the uniqueness of the skill set of our roster. I think we're going to have a group that comes in and competes every year. It's been the thing that I've enjoyed most about our team, is walking into the gym every day knowing that it's going to be a team that competes and gives an effort every time they step on the floor. So with that, it's great to be back, and open it up to questions.
In the back.
Okay, Coach, apologize. I know you want to build a program, you're focused on that, but for those of us who are local, remember you from your playing days, any sentimental thoughts about being back in Indianapolis, and any thoughts about your Pacer days?
Yeah, I love coming back to Indianapolis. It's got my opportunity. You saw when I walked in, picture of Mel Daniels, who really was the guy that drafted me. See him up in the rafters here. Just such a great mentor to me when I came in here. I just don't shake his hand, or didn't want to shake his hand. I'll take you to your knees. But Mel was one of the all-time great people, and just loved what he did for me as a young player. To see Reggie Miller name up there, Roger Brown, Slick Leonard, to see his picture, who was such a great person and a guy that I had a lot of wonderful times with. But my first 2 kids were born in Indianapolis, and we played at the old Market Square Arena, some of the best atmospheres. We were going through those great series with the Knicks, with the Bulls, and had a chance to beat them in the last dance in that Game 7, where we had down pretty good in the second half. But always have great memories of this place. We loved it here. We loved our time. Such a passionate fan base, especially for basketball. And certainly a place that anytime I come here, I'll try to go back by our old house. But we had 4 awesome years in Indianapolis.
Front row.
Fred Tombury, Sports Illustrated Indiana. You mentioned trying to rebuild in a conference like this is always extremely difficult, but you were able to get 4 transfers out of the portal this year, and last year was a very active time for everybody, with guys coming and going. How do you deal with your roster management through part of this, and do you expect that to continue at that level going forward, or no?
Yeah, I think it absolutely will continue. I think you may see it even increase, just based on the rule that was passed last year, where transfers don't have to sit anymore as a one-time transfer. It's really how we built our program when I first got into coaching at Iowa State, and we brought 4 high-level transfers in that first year. At that time, they had to sit, and then with the talent that we added to our lineup, it got us to 4 consecutive NCAA tournaments, 2 Big 12 tournament championships, and it's just a way that we were able to increase the talent on a roster and get it turned over very quickly. So you're going to see that a lot. What we have right now, I think, is a very good mix of transfer older players and also younger players. Getting a guy like Alonzo Verge late in the game when Delano Banton kept his name in the draft was so important to get another player to give us depth in the backcourt and somebody that can play with the ball in their hands and a guy that can really get into the paint and make plays. CJ Wilcher, Keon Edwards, Keisei Tominaga, and the other 3 that can all space the floor and guys that can knock down shots and make plays. The biggest area I think of improvement for our team is perimeter shooting and also playmaking. When you have that shooting, especially in the world of analytics and taking away the 3-point line, what that does for our team is open up driving lanes. We had a shot profile last year that we want to continue with. 82% of our shots were in the restricted area and behind the 3-point line, and we feel that we're much better equipped now to take advantage of those situations, hopefully knock down those shots and finish better at the rim. And if we do that, we'll take a huge step in the right direction on the offensive end of the floor.
We have time for a couple more questions in the back.
Hey Fred, Robin Washington here of HuskerOnline.com. You've mentioned that narrowing down the rotation with the returning players you have and then all the newcomers is going to be one of the most difficult tasks for you this offseason. I guess, what's a realistic number you want to ultimately get that rotation down to, and then how do you balance egos a little bit with returners expecting to play and then newcomers wanting to make an immediate impact?
Yeah, that's a great question, Robin. It is going to be my single most difficult part of the job this year is figuring out our rotation, who starts, and more importantly, who finishes games, who we can trust in those late game situations. The biggest thing that you have to stress to your team is role acceptance and going out there, whatever role you're given, star in it. And we've got 3 weeks to figure it out. And what we start with our rotation may not be what we finish the year with, but we're doing our best to put the best players on the floor, the best 5 that fit together to give us the best chance to win. And that's ultimately the goal. And coming from a guy that played every role, from being a bench guy, behind the bench guy, in a starter, to go out there and accept it, do the best job you can, take advantage of the minutes when they come, and also practice situations. But again, that creates great competitiveness in your practices. And I've been impressed with our group for the way they've gone out and are fighting for those very valuable minutes. But we've got, I think, 12 that I could put on the floor right now, in certain situations. At the beginning of the year, we'll start probably 9 or 10 in a rotation and then go from there.
And our final question, front row in the corner.
Hey Fred, Jimmy Watkins from the Omaha World Herald. Obviously not a ton of on-court progress going to take place at an event like this, but perception matters to some extent too. What can you, Trey and Alonzo, get accomplished today?
Well, I don't know, Jimmy. I guess, the best thing about an event like today is, to have some normalcy back in our lives and hopefully carry that over throughout the season. Still understanding that we are living in a pandemic, and, I'm proud of our group for buying into being 100% fully vaccinated with our group, but we're still taking it cautious every day. We've had players that wake up with the sniffles. We keep them away, get them COVID tested, and thankfully we have not had a positive case to this point. But I think an event like today just brings some normalcy back to our lives and in the world that we live in, and hopefully we can continue through that. I know all of us as coaches, as players, are excited about getting fans back in our building. We feel we've got a great home court advantage. Our fans have been extremely patient throughout the rebuild that we've had, and I know they're excited about this group. So for Trey, Alonzo, and myself to come out here and talk about the group and the strides that we've made and where we are as a program, gives us a great platform, certainly, to do that.
Well, Coach, thank you so much for your time
Thank
this
you.
morning. Good luck this season.